Hello and welcome to the final game of Week 1 of the PWL season. I'm your commentator, Joe Adams, and I'm joined, as always, by John Smith.
The final game of Week 1 is upon us. Time to see which team will be leading the league by the end of the game. Before that, the players.
Playing for the Bethany Herons tonight is Will Benyon. Obviously, there's some pressure to get some late week points as last game's Heron player came last place.
Representing the Hillsborough Highlanders is Spencer Jenkins. Can he replicate the game that his brother just had, scoring 19 points for Hillsborough?
Kane Ball-So-Hard Edmonds of the Rose City Wreckers is looking to add on to last game's performance, where the Wreckers took home the victory with 20 points.
Playing for the Cedar Mill Shockwaves is free agent Matt Ferguson, who is subbing in for Beno Zanos in this Week 1 game.
The Beaverton Ballers are represented by Spencer Dominguez and the Aloha Gladiators by Camille Jorgensen. Both teams need some points late in the week to keep up with the competition. We'll just have to see how that goes for them. And with that, round 1 of match 1.
It appears all players are in proper attire, including Matt Ferguson, who I guess you could say has blue on. He has blue paper tape.
And speaking of blue, let's talk about Will Benyon, who just blew it by sailing the ball right over the table as he comes in dead last for the first match of the game, scoring 0 points for the Bethany Herons.
Wow, that's a big one. I mean, we were just saying that he needs to score big in this game, and then 0 points, that is not scoring big, man. That is not scoring big.
That's right. Well, it's time to see who the next biggest loser is by seeing who comes in 5th place.
If you notice, Spencer Dominguez has a very interesting style of play to his game, as he's holding the paddle upside down, and it looks like it just backfired on him.
That right there is the 1-point player of the game. Spencer Dominguez with the Beaverton Ballers comes in 5th place. And as you were saying before, I think it is pretty interesting that a lot of the players have different styles of holding the paddle. You know, a lot of people use the generic, just hand around the grip and then it's just there. But, you know, some players hold it upside down, others hold it just, you know, in special ways. It can be an interesting part of a player's persona.
Absolutely. It is very big. Most people hold it the same way, though.
That's right. There is a common generic way of holding it, but there are some exclusions to this rule. Looks like Matt Ferguson to hit, Spencer Jenkins on the receive. Everyone's just playing a little conservatively here, except for Spencer Jenkins maybe, who just showed off a little bit of arm strength there.
Our free agent Matt Ferguson is just looks effortless for him. He's just walking around the table. He doesn't have a care in the world because, well, he has a 1-day contract.
That's right. He has nothing left to do after this game, so maybe the Shockwaves should have gotten a more determined player. But it doesn't seem to matter, as Camille Jorgensen for the Aloha Gladiators is the next player out, scoring 2 points for the Gladiators for this match, leaving us with our final 3. Spencer Jenkins of the Hillsborough Highlanders, Kane Edmonds of the Rose City Wreckers, and the free agent Matthew Ferguson of the Cedar Mill Shockwave.
And what did Matthew Ferguson just do?
I think Matt Ferguson just did what everyone has coined as his signature play, the Fergie Special.
Yeah, back in 16, about, what was that, 6 years ago now? No, 7 years ago now. When we had our first league, Matt Ferguson did that a record-breaking 43 times.
Actually, Simon, a correction, it was actually 46 times.
Oh, 46 times. And that may be why he's a free agent now and did not get picked up.
That's correct. Matt Ferguson did go undrafted, and the Fergie Special, for players who are unaware, was named after him for players who are unaware that it is their turn as the ball just goes across the complete opposite side of the table that they're supposed to be on.
It's just embarrassing, man. And round 1 victor.
Speaking of embarrassing, Kane Edmonds just lost on a pretty basic hit there, meaning Spencer Jenkins of the Hillsborough Highlanders is off to a great start in matching his brother's performance, winning 5 points for the Hillsborough Highlanders as Kane Edmonds takes 4 for the Rose City Wreckers.
And we have a sponsor right here, Smart Excavation. Best excavation work.
Smart Excavation is one of the best construction companies out there, and especially when it comes to demolition, I tell you.
Now we've reached a conclusion of Game 1. Let's get on to Game 2.
That's right. We got an interesting matchup here, same as the last time, but now the players are a little more knowledgeable about their competitors' abilities, and they might be looking to kind of show that. Will Benyon with a pretty interesting technique there to try and win the ball with his own generation to try and get the ball further away from the table. And Spencer Dominguez of the Beaverton Ballers comes in last place. That's 0 more points for him after a 5th place finish last match. That's not a good start to the game, but of course there's still plenty more matches to be played.
Yeah, Will Benyon does. He seems to have coined that move where he fans the ball, tries to fan the ball.
That's right. I don't want to coin the term for it myself. I might have to ask him sometime what he calls that action that he does.
I believe he's the only player that's ever done that in league history. Think back all the way to when we were founded in '45. Anyone has done it since?
No one ever. It's completely new. Camille Jorgensen on the receive. Just completely smacks that ball. Great hit from Camille Jorgensen. And it looks like it just completely caught Benyon off guard as he just completely dumpsters himself on that match, scoring 1 point for the Herons.
Absolutely, just misses the ball. I mean, you can play different right there. You can not miss the ball, hit the ball. That is one thing you can do right there.
That was a very impressive hit from the Aloha Gladiators. Camille Jorgensen did a lot of misdirection on that move that just completely fooled Will Benyon. I don't think there might be a better player at misdirection in the league than the Aloha Gladiators' Camille Jorgensen.
I'd have to agree on that one.
And Spencer Jenkins is the next one out. After winning match 1, he's only scored fourth place after Matt Ferguson just delivers an absolutely ruthless hit across the table without even trying at all. He just bends over forward and just hits the ball, and that's it. That's the whole match right there.
Oh, would I be correct to say that every single one of these players is a first or a 6th round pick except for Camille Jorgensen and Matt Ferguson?
I believe so. Well, Will Benyon and Camille Jorgensen. Actually, no, I think you're completely incorrect about that. I believe all of these players are actually the 5th round picks.
All 5th rounders?
All of them except for Matthew Ferguson, who, of course, went undrafted, which is even below that. But I believe that everyone playing in this game are their team's respective last picks of the draft. So not too much pressure.
Fifth. Excuse me, I meant 5th. As in last, as I said 6th.
And there we go. Camille Jorgensen gets out next. A solid hit from Kane Edmonds, and she tries to do something a little fancy and gets it just a little too short. But hey, that's a 3rd place finish. That's pretty good. Which means match 2's championship will be between Kane Edmonds,
who is back.
Records. That's right. He's back for his 2nd appearance, and Matt Ferguson playing for the Cedar Mill Shockwave. And these teams, of course, these two teams have the greatest rivalry in the PWL, the Shockwave versus the Wreckers.
I'm going to have to agree with you there. That's history on that one.
So it looks like we might have had a serve there. So we're going to start with Kane Edmonds' serve. And another serve there.
Served by Matt Ferguson. If he did not swing on that, he would have just... It would have been a serve on ball so hard.
Gets it over. And a great misdirection shot there from Matthew Ferguson, but Kane Edmonds is able to recover.
And Matt just shoots over.
He tries to do it again, but that time not as successful as the first one. And Matthew Ferguson loses as Kane Edmonds takes match 2 for the Rose City Wreckers.
We've reached the conclusion of match 2, and Kane Edmonds of the Rose City Wreckers has taken the early lead, scoring 9 out of a possible 10 points for the Wreckers.
Not too far behind John is Spencer Jenkins of the Highlanders and Shockwave free agent Matt Ferguson, both with 7 points.
In 4th place is currently the Gladiators' Camille Jorgensen with a respectable 5 points.
Finally, Will Benyon of Bethany and Spencer Dominguez of the Ballers are sitting in last with just 1 point each. Not the start they were looking for, I bet, John.
Absolutely, they did not expect that. Joe, we're going to need extra work from them to bring the bridge and lengthen this gap.
That is certainly correct, John. I don't think I could have said that better myself. But that's the start of match 3. And it looks like we already have our first elimination. Will Benyon has to Camille Jorgensen. And she does some kind of weird two-handed granny shot on the ball. And it just does not go very far. And that's the end of the first
Well, it
round.
had the distance, just not the accuracy.
That's right. It could have made it there, but you think that maybe with two hands you might be a little more accurate. But
I guess not. Not in this case.
Not in this case.
Unfortunately for the Gladiators.
Yeah, whoever's on that team, probably pretty unhappy with how that worked out.
Bad week for the Gladiators as they had an 8-point game. What was Ben Ryan's game?
7
points. And then now we have this game. So Camille Jorgensen really needs to step this one up for the Gladiators after one good game from the Gladiators with Caden Fairhurst and then 2 very disappointing games.
But let's not forget Riley Graham of the Gladiators, who also had a pretty good game with 17 points.
Of course.
And it looks like we got another elimination here. Will Benyon going. Spencer Dominguez is receiving, and he is out. Will Benyon gets the elimination. Spencer Dominguez, that is his second 5th place finish, which is also tied for his best finish of the game so far.
Wow, 5th place finish, best halfway into the game. Not the start you're looking for.
A little disappointing, I suppose, for the Beaverton Ballers, who, aside from Ryan Heilman, could really be using some support here. And from Kean Dyer, I suppose. Both of them had great games.
A good misdirection.
Yeah, but great mobility there from Spencer Jenkins as well. Matthew Ferguson just, again, really not looking like he's trying, but that's another elimination for him as he gets Spencer Jenkins out.
Absolutely. Just looks like it hits his thumb right there.
That's completely correct, which means our final 3, we have Kane Edmonds making his 3rd straight final 3, Matt Ferguson also making his 3rd straight final 3, and Will Benyon, who has not even made it past 5th place up until now.
Looks like he's going big right here on this game to make up for those games. Oh, and looks like the split in the table throws Matt Ferguson off right there.
That's right. He's able to get to the ball, but looks like he wasn't able to collect himself, and the accuracy on the shot was a little off, which means Kane Edmonds will be in the top 2 for the 3rd time in 3 matches. Very impressive.
Very impressive. I'm taking that player any day, man.
He's already won a match. He's came 2nd in another. But Will Benyon could certainly use the points.
And then he just buffs it, man.
It looks like he won't get them as Kane Edmonds wins his 2nd match out of the 3 matches that have been played so far. But let's give some credit to Will Benyon. Having a pretty good game.
Absolutely, coming 2nd. You can't. I'll never be disappointed with a player coming 2nd. But
top 3 is great.
Of course.
Now here's a great company right here, Carrick Electric. I encourage anyone and everyone watching this video to call that number you see on the screen and just talk to them about getting your Carrick Electric stuff set up. If you are watching this, please go call that number right now. Call it.
Best electricians I know, they wired my house and it's just so bright.
That's right. Call them. Go back in the video, back 5 seconds, and call them. Call that number. Looks like we're going to be starting match 4 now.
Oh, good hit by Will Benyon right there where it hits the front of the table and bounces on and over.
Let's see what Matt Ferguson does here. Very high effort play there from Matt Ferguson. He's really showing all the stops. And Spencer Dominguez tried to get a really fancy recovery there, but he just wasn't able to get back on the table. And so far for him,
6th place finish.
That is his 2nd last place. And he has 2 5th place finishes. His other 2
points over 4 games.
That's not very good so far. He's going to need to do better over his last 2 matches in order to really get any points for the Beaverton Ballers, who are right now a struggling franchise. Camille Jorgensen to receive. She does a nice backhand there. Matt Ferguson making Kane Edmonds move around a little bit. Will Benyon doing his special move. We'll still need to figure out what that's called from him when we're done officiating this game.
Matt with another misdirection, then Kane with misdirection, and Will Benyon.
And there goes Will
over.
Benyon. That's his 2nd 5th place finish amongst a 6th place finish, but he still does have that 2nd place from last match to to try and carry his point total.
Still not a very strong game.
That's not. It's definitely not a strong game with that many early exits, but still second place finish. It's better than nothing. That leaves us with our final four. Matthew Ferguson almost gets Kane Edmonds out, but that was a great recovery from Kane Ball So Hard University Edmonds. That's just a really good pick. Kane Edmonds was taken 27th overall in the draft, one of the very last picks, and so far he's been a complete steal for the Wreckers.
And it looks like the Gladiators' Camille Jorgensen soars and misses the table. What do you think could have been done differently on that play?
I think that maybe if she aimed to the table and hit the ball and then had the ball touch the table before it touched the ground, I think she possibly could have scored some points on that game.
I agree with her.
And there is Kane Edmonds going out for the first time outside of the championship round as he gets third place, but still, he hasn't been outside the top three all game.
That's a strong hold-in right there.
That means our final... And what a shot there from Tanner Jenkins. Let's get that from another angle. Matt just completely sets him up, and Tanner Jenkins just rifles that across the table. There was no way that he's going to... We didn't even have time to officiate this match at all. It was already over before it began, practically. And Tanner Jenkins... Spencer Jenkins. I'm sorry, I've been calling him Tanner this whole time, his brother's name. Spencer Jenkins has won his second match. So that's 2/3 of the matches through, and not so much has changed in the standings. Kane Edmonds still stands at 17 points. He's looking pretty good so far.
Islanders' Spencer Jenkins and Shockwave's Matt Ferguson are both still tied at 14 apiece. I tell you, these free agents are pretty good.
Camille Jorgensen increased her point total to 7, and Will Benyon scored 5 over these past two matches to get right behind her at 6.
Unfortunately for the Ballers, however, Dominguez only scored 1 point again, making his total just 2 points across 4 matches.
Things are not looking good for the Ballers right now, John.
They are not, no.
But if we look at these stats so far, Matt Ferguson and Kane Edmonds have been doing really good. Both Matt Ferguson and Kane Edmonds have not placed outside the top 3 once over the course of 4 matches. And Spencer Jenkins has won 2 matches himself. These 3 players are certainly looking to be the top 3 of the game. And then it's really up to the other 3 just fighting for 4th place.
I agree with you there. Our top 3s, I feel, solidified already.
Yep, it looks like for the teams that are more struggling, the Herons, the Gladiators, and the Ballers, they're really counting on their team members to at least come 4th place in order to get some points to help their standings for next week. So now for match 5, it's time to see who's going to get out first this time. And did I see that correctly? Did Matt Ferguson just get out first?
Just sails it right over the table and just look at him. He just does not care. That's what a free agent does.
That's what a free agent does. That is his first, not let alone his first round exit. That's his first time outside the top 3 here in match 5, and I think that's a sigh of relief for the other players now that they don't have to face him anymore.
Do you think he feels a little disrespected going undrafted, and that's why he has a little bit of I do not care?
A little bit of a chip on his shoulder. It's possible, but let me tell something to Matt Ferguson. The way you get drafted is by not having that attitude.
That is true. I agree.
And now it's up to see what player's going to get next. It'd be really surprising if one of the better stars of this match, like Spencer Jenkins or Kane Edmonds, were the ones to get out next.
And it looks like, oh, that's a great save right there by the Gladiators.
A great receive.
Jorgensen.
That was just complete. That was very impressive. She just ran all the way across the court and got there right in time.
And again, Will Benyon with his little retarded kid move. Retard move.
That's correct, I guess. But Camille Jorgensen just runs it over the table. And I tell you, I bet the viewers who are going to watch this on YouTube for the 2 minutes before it gets taken down are really enjoying this video.
I think they are too. I mean, if they're this far in the commentary, I think they should give us a like and comment down below ball sack.
And make sure to subscribe and turn those notifications on for the games. And you can also see the league standings from the About section of the YouTube channel.
Alright, let's get into this match right here. It looks like we're about to get started.
Our final 4 is Spencer Jenkins, Spencer Dominguez, Kane Edmonds, and Will Benyon. Very conservative play so far. Let's see. Spencer Jenkins trying to... Oh, yep, they're trying to spice things up a little by hitting across. And a good hit from Will Benyon. Great hits all around from everyone.
Oh, and just a miss.
Yeah, that was a great hit from Spencer Dominguez. Maybe a little bit of luck with it. Getting on those corner shots can really mess up some of the positioning. And I can't believe this is the first time that we have had a Final Three without Spencer Jenkins or Matt Ferguson.
But again, we do have Kane Edmonds here, who's not been outside the top 3 and has been top 2 every game except for last.
That's right. And it looks like Spencer Dominguez just got out, which means Will Benyon will be in his 2nd championship match and Kane Edmonds will be in his 4th.
Wow, that's insane right there.
Over 5 matches, 4 championship round appearances, and 2 of those are already wins, maybe a 3rd one too.
And a 3rd win right there.
Yep, Kane Edmonds has just won his 3rd match. That's 15 points just from those 3 matches. As Will Benyon goes in for a spike, but he just completely misses it. Yeah, right there. Just it kind of mirrors the famous Jack Thunder from Game 1. Maybe not as bad, but still, And another sponsor of this video is Gecko Fuel Industries. They're the cheapest gas in the nation, and they're really good at fueling your car, just in all aspects.
I put it in every single vehicle, every single engine I own, and they've run the best I've ever had.
Yep, I always look for Gecko Fuel signs whenever I'm low on gas. I'll tell you that much.
What do you think Rose City Records fans think of Kane Edmonds'
His
3 wins? Yes, his performance.
His performance so far, incredibly impressive. I'm sure
his hat trick is the word I was looking for.
Hat trick, yeah, 3 wins in a row, and it looks like we have a Fergie special from Camille Jorgensen here, who forgot it was her turn. Look, she's just standing over there. Spencer Jenkins makes a great recovery and a great hit across the table opposite of where she's standing, and that's 0 points for the Gladiators for this last match, and that's to get out in the last match on a Fergie special is just a little embarrassing.
It definitely is there. Not the points that the Gladiators are looking for. Another low score game for another player. It looks like in week 1 the Gladiators have had 2, one really high score, 1 pretty good score, and then 3 really lackluster performances.
Yeah, they were certainly going to need to change that in week 2 if they want to get back onto the leaderboard. But now there's 5 players remaining, and for each of them, this is their last chance to score some good points for their team, especially for those in the bottom 3 to help their team stay in contention, and for those in the top 3 of this match to make it so, they remain in the top 3. They're all fighting for the first place spot. But, dethroning Kane Edmonds might be a little difficult.
And it looks like we have some confusion right there where someone hit the ball when they were not supposed to.
And it looks like Will Benyon is out. That is his 3rd 5th place finish. I mean, despite having 2 2nd place appearances, 3 5ths and 1 6th is not a good stat line.
No, that's... What is that? Let me do the math real quick. 11 points for his team.
Yep, not very good points. Well, I suppose breaking double digits is good for some players, but...
Not what the Herons wanted.
You expect more, a little more from Will Benyon. But now we have 4 players remaining, all trying to gather up as many points, and by the end of this match, someone will be leaving with 5 points for their team.
Strong hit right there.
That's right, some pretty good placements of the ball.
See what Kane does right here. It looks like he's going to swap the table.
A good hit from Matt Ferguson. Trying to
Great save. That barely hit the table right there.
Spencer Jenkins with a soft hit. Spencer Dominguez also returning the favor. And Matt Ferguson just... Did he forget to hit the ball, or...?
No, it kind of... If we look at our instant replay, I don't know if we can see it from this angle, but it kind of just looks like it hit a dead spot on the floor. Just did not bounce at all.
Yeah, I suppose so. It just... I guess bad luck for Matthew Ferguson as he comes in 4th place this match. This match and last match are his two worst appearances, 2 worst placements over the course of the entire game.
That was a strong First 4 games for him right there. Top 3 every single game, and just 6th and 4th.
All right, that means now we have our final 3: the Beaverton Ballers, the Rose City Wreckers, and the Hillsborough Highlanders. Spencer Jenkins tries one of his famous hard hits, but just sails over the table, reminiscent of the Jack Blunder, and he comes in 3rd place, which means the last championship round will be between Spencer Dominguez, his first appearance, and Kane Edmonds, his 5th championship round appearance in 6 matches.
Wow, that's insane. And his only one that was not, he came out in 3rd. This guy's on the podium every game.
Looks like that's going to be a serve 1 on Spencer Dominguez. Looks like he's trying to be aggressive, trying to get Kane out early.
Serve 2, or serve 1 this time on
Kane Edmonds. And now the ball is live. Let's see where this match takes us.
Dominguez with his signature upside down paddle hold.
But it seems to be working pretty well now. He's getting some good spins on these balls, and
that was a great spin right there.
He's doing some great recoveries too. I mean, where was this player earlier in the match is what I'm thinking.
He's just spinning that ball every time. If you see him flick his wrist every single time.
That's right. Looking pretty Jared Istook like to me with the skill and technique on these hits.
Almost got Kane right there.
Kane is still holding on, but it looks like Spencer Dominguez is a little in control here. I mean, you can see with his footwork, he's not even really carrying.
Almost putting the spin on the ball every single one of these hits.
This seems to be a signature of his. He's just trying to maybe confuse him a little bit. That one
stumbles a little bit.
Almost caught him off guard. And he
just misses the ball.
It looks like he overspinned it a little bit. Let's look from another angle.
Overspins.
He overspun it, which means that will be his best placement of the night with 2nd place. And Kane Edmonds will win his 4th of 6 matches. That is just absolutely great statistical showing there.
Wow, I mean, a hat trick is already a hat trick. He put on, I don't even know what's above a hat trick.
It's a quad feed.
Quad feed, yeah.
All right, so that will mark the end of week 1. Let's take a look at the standings. Camille Jorgensen scored only 1 point across matches 5 and 6, making her final placement 8 points as she drops 2 positions to last place in the game. A decent start, but she couldn't maintain it. Spencer Dominguez came in 3rd and 2nd, turning his 2-point game into 9. Not exactly good, but a great comeback nonetheless as he moves up to 5th place.
Will Bennion came 2nd in match 5, where the bulk of his new points came from. Overall, he scored 11 points to move him up to 4th.
But the top 3 has remained the same the entire game. Free agent Matt Ferguson brought home 16 points for the Cedar Mill Shockwave, and Spencer Jenkins brought a strong 19 points for his own team, tying his brother's performance last game.
But the winner of this match is Kane Edmonds, who came first in the last 2 matches to raise his score to 27 points, just 1 point short of tying the single game record set by Gladiator Caden Ferris in Game 2, and 3 points short of perfect.
Not to mention the 12 eliminations and 4 regicides. Truly a dominant performance from Edmonds as he brings home the Wreckers' 2nd straight victory.
Now let's take a look at the team standing. The Rose City Wreckers take the lead for Week 1, scoring the most total points with 92.
They also lead the league in combined eliminations and regicides with 32 KOs and 10 regicides. Hillsborough holds 2nd place currently with 80 points.
The middle of the pack are the Cedar Mill Shockwaves and the Beaverton Ballers, scoring 79 and 70 each.
The bottom of the barrel are the Aloha Gladiators with 68 points and the Bethany Herons with 58 points.
Now let's take...
So it looks like the Wreckers and the Highlanders are taking a pretty early lead, but the Shockwave are only 1 point behind. But then there's a pretty large gap between those top 3 and the bottom 3 who are really struggling for points right now.
I agree there. And the Herons are just way down there with 10 points below even the next person there.
That's right. And they also have the least knockouts and only 2 regicides in their 5 whole games. That's just not really good statistics.
Now let's take a look at the league's top players in terms of knockouts. Caden Ferris of the Low Gladiators is first with 15 in a single game. Not too far behind him is Ballers Ryan Heilman with 14 himself.
The bronze eliminations medal is the Wreckers' Kane Edmonds, who eliminated 12 players in this last game. 4th and 5th are Highlanders' Chris Dyer with 10 and the Herons' own Ben Clement with 9. I'm not seeing a single Shockwave on this list, John.
That's because they suck balls, Joe.
Let's switch this over to Regicide's top 5. Caden Fairhurst of the Aloha Gladiators is also first with 6 in his Week 2 game. And just like for knockouts, right behind him is the baller Ryan Hallman, who had 4 in Game 3.
Tied with Hallman is Kane Edmonds yet again, who also has 4. The 4th and 5th place positions belong to Jacob Ham of the Wreckers and Spencer Jenkins of the Highlanders, who both have 3. There are 2 Wreckers on this list, Joe.
That's right, John, and not a single Shockwave or Heron this time around.
And finally, at the end of the Week 1, let's take a look at the league's top 10 players.
The league leader, and currently the Triple Crown leader, is the Aloha Gladiators' Caden Fairhurst, who has scored the most points, the most knockouts, and the most regicides.
The number 2 of the league is currently Kane Edmonds, who scored just 1 less point than Fairhurst of the top, and on top of 12 eliminations and 4 regicides.
Rounding out our top 3 is the Highlanders' Chris Dyer, who scored 23 points in his game, but a comparatively low 10 eliminations and 1 regicide.
And 4th is the Ballers' Ryan Hallman with 22 points. He may be 4th in points scored, but he is currently 2nd in the league in both knockouts and regicides. Very impressive.
In 5th place is a player who isn't even rostered on a team, free agent Owen Anderson, who scored 20 points for the Wreckers in his game, on top of 8 knockouts and 1 regicide.
Rounding out our top 6 is Jacob Ham of the Rose City Wreckers, who also scored 20 points and 2 more regicides than Anderson, but on 2 less eliminations.
The honorable mentions for the ranked 7 through 10 players are Johnny Collier, Spencer Jenkins, Tanner Jenkins, and Kian Dyer.
Joe, let's take a look at this from a team perspective. We count Owen Anderson for his performance in Game 4. The Rose City Wreckers have 3 of the top 6 players in the league.
No doubt they're the league leaders as of right now, John. But the Highlanders also have 3 if we expand that list to top 10 with numbers 3, 8, and 9. The Ballers also have multiple top 10 players with numbers 4 and 10.
The Gladiators only have 1 top 10 player, the number 1 player in the league, thankfully enough. And while the Shockwaves don't have a top 6 player, they do have number 7 in Johnny Collier.
That leaves who else but the Bethany Herons without a single top 10 player at the end of Week 1.
You know, Joe, there are 4 sibling pairs in this league. The Fairhurst, the Dyers, Jenkins, and the Winkles. Of these 4, 2 have both siblings in the top 10. Both Dyers brothers are ranked 3rd and 10th, and both Jenkins brothers are ranked 8th and 9th.
The Fairhurst brothers have 1, of course, and we might see the other rise through the ranks. We'll just have to wait and see.
With that, however, this is the end of Week 1 of the Portland Waterfall League season. Make sure to check out the league standings in the description below. And from Joe and I in the booth, we'll see you in Week 2.